All right. Good morning, Westridge. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. For people who haven't met me yet, my name is Morgan, and I'm this year's ASB president. Before we begin, I want to give a warm welcome to all of our new families, staff members, and peers that are joining the Westridge community this year. We can't wait to meet and get to know each and every one of you. One of my favorite memories, ironically, at Westridge is actually my first ever convocation. I still remember wearing the white, scratchy, and boxy uniform for the first time. Though that did begin my hatred for white uniform days. Sorry, I've learned to appreciate the days themselves. The white Westridge uniform is a representation of both new beginnings and community. At Convocation, Westridge students wear their white uniform to signal the start of a new year. A uniform experience that a community embraces together. Now, not all new starts will always be the best ones, but the Westridge community has proven to me time and time again how valuable kindness and friendship are. Each of its members are always ready to welcome the new and are not afraid to embrace the old. Whether it be lower/middle school graduation or even the junior ring ceremony, the white uniform in all of its iconic glory will continue to bring the Westridge community in ways that we can't imagine. Now it's important to remember that these days are only a glimpse of the value that the Westridge community holds. This year, I hope that each and every one of you gets the opportunity to explore your place in the community and truly understand the value that you bring. We don't just strive to rise by ourselves, instead, we do it together. On that note, I would like to introduce the Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Good morning. How exciting to be here today at the start of a new school year. I'm so glad we could actually finally all be together. It's a little surreal being up here speaking after so many convocations that I've spent in the audience, both as a student and then as a parent. But let me just first start by acknowledging and expressing deep gratitude to the faculty and staff who are faced with many challenges over the past couple of years and have proven to be resilient, adaptable, and dedicated. It was inspiring to see the many ways that they reimagined their classrooms and lessons to continue reaching their students despite physical and sometimes emotional distances. And obviously, I want to thank the Westridge families for being partners with us and for all your support of our community as well. And also to welcome the new families and your students. We look forward to meeting you all. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank my fellow trustees, some of whom are in attendance today. I'm fortunate to work alongside some very talented people who consistently lend their support to Westridge in so many ways, so thank you. And lastly, I'm happy to have joining us today our former head of school, Fran Scobel, who is actually starting her headship when I was a student, so it's nice to have her back on campus, so welcome. So as I reflect on my time at Westridge, first as a student and now as a parent and trustee, the thing that strikes me is that Westridge has always been a place of care and support. I felt it from my teachers as a student here, and I see it as a parent now too. Over the past few years, the world has presented challenges requiring us all to confront complex issues and situations. But in the challenges, we've also rediscovered our fundamental need for connection. So as we embark on this new school year, I'm excited to see our community carry forward the gift of connection and the empathy and belonging that it can create. It's this environment that empowers our students to bring their whole selves to this ever-changing world. And I can't think of anyone better to guide our community during this time than Andrea. It's clear that she values connection too, as she's been connecting with our community for the past year, and the pace of that has only accelerated since she's been on campus. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Andrea, and I'm excited for you to get to know her as well. As a girls' school alumna herself, and then as a teacher and administrator, she's always been around girls' schools. This gives her an optimal starting point from which to get to know Westridge more intimately. Knowing now more than ever that we cannot predict what will happen in the future, I'm confident that Andrea's student centering will guide our community well no matter what comes at us. Andrea We're excited to welcome you to the Westridge community. Many of us have already felt your presence around campus, and we can't wait to feel your inspiration even more fully as the year progresses. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, it's my pleasure to install Andrea L. Kassar as the 12th head of Westridge School.
Hello, Westridge. Thank you very much, Val and Morgan. I can't tell you how excited and thrilled I am to be here with all of you. Welcome back, students. Welcome, colleagues. Yay! Welcome, parents. Welcome, trustees. Welcome, special friends. And welcome, family. Raise your hand if, like me, you are new to Westridge this year. A special welcome to all of you. This is the most beautiful sight. I am overwhelmed by what a beautiful sight this is. I'll let you in on a little secret that I told our colleagues about the other day. On July 1st, when I walked into my new office for the first time, guess what happened? Guess what? Can you guess? Yes. My eyes welled up with tears. You know how sometimes you cry when you're happy? Yeah. And I felt so honored and excited to be here. And I feel that same way today. Now even happier because you are all here with me. And I get to share this wonderful moment, this first day of school, with all of you. I also told colleagues that the very first time that I came to Westridge's campus over a year ago and spent many days meeting with many of you, I said to my husband, Tim, I can picture wrapping my arms around this place. And I feel that again right now as I stand here with all of you. As I have been settling into our wonderful new life here in Pasadena and at Westridge, I have been decorating my office with pictures and quotations that are most meaningful to me. I'm an English teacher, so it makes sense that I would have a lot of quotations on my walls. I recently noticed how many of the quotations that I put up are not only from stories, but they are actually about stories also. As I mentioned in one of my welcome letters recently, I love stories. And one of the quotations that hangs in my office is by a favorite author of mine, Dostoevsky. And it is, "But how can you live and have no story to tell?" I bet many of you love stories too. Is that true? Am I right? Fourth graders, do you love stories? Yeah. I can't wait to find out what your favorite stories are. Since I love stories, I thought I might tell you a story about my love of stories and why I love them. When I was very young, my family lived in the Middle East for a number of years. And my mother brought many records, yes, the big vinyl kind, of children's stories with us. I remember sitting in our living room in Abu Dhabi and getting lost in these stories for hours, from Peter and the Wolf to Jack and the Beanstalk. I also remember cuddling up close with my mother, reading before bed. Favorites like Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. Is that one that some of you know? Yes. I actually have a picture of Alexander in my office right now, so when you come by, you'll see it, okay? And another book that I love that I also discovered Miss Jallow loves, which is Ira Sleeps Over. If that's a little less known, but if you find it, you'll love it too, I bet. And so stories for me, like for so many of us, also became something visceral and physically comforting to me at an early age. As I grew to middle school, I began to love writing stories too. In 6th grade English, and I told my colleagues about this last week, we each were assigned a Greek god or goddess and asked to write about this god or goddess coming to modern life. I was assigned Hera, a goddess I loved learning about. She is passionate, a little jealous, maybe a lot jealous, smart, both secure and insecure at the same time. I had the most fun writing about Hera coming to modern-day New York City and staying at the Plaza Hotel and eating lobster at Tavern on the Green. As I grew older, I became a student of literature and psychology and theater, my 3 greatest academic passions. And they are all 3 about the human experience, what drives us, what we feel, who we are, why we do the things we do, and most of all, our stories. In college, I took a narrative psychology class with a well-known professor, Bertram Kohler. And I remember being so taken by one thing that he taught us. He said that research shows throughout the world that when people are interviewed at the end of their lives, something that matters most to us as we look back on our lives is that our lives had a narrative arc, that there are through lines, that there is trajectory, that there is meaning, that we can make sense of it somehow, that our lives weren't just a string of days without coherence, without a story. As Julie Beck in The Atlantic put it, quote, "A person's life story is not a Wikipedia biography of the facts and events of a life, but rather the way a person integrates those facts and events internally, picks them apart, and weaves them back together to make meaning. This making of meaning, creating a story from our life experience, is crucial, not only to our sense of well-being, but to our fundamental sense of self." I love this concept. But perhaps what I love even more are the ways that stories not only impact us as individuals, but they bond us to each other. There is such power in that collective. A few years ago, at a National Coalition of Girls' Schools conference that I attended, I had the pleasure of hearing Azar Nafisi. She is the author of a book called Reading Lolita in Tehran. As she talked about her experience leading a secret women's book club in Tehran, she said, quote, "What makes us close to one another are stories. Through telling our own stories, we gain control over our own reality and who we are, and we don't allow others to define us. We define ourselves." In this way, stories give us agency to define ourselves, and in doing so, they bring us closer to one another. Philosopher Iris Murdoch says, and this is a quote I love and I think about often, "Love is the extremely difficult realization that something other than oneself is real." In humanizing others, stories enable us to recognize others as just as real as ourselves. And in this way, stories generate love. They create and construct. They embrace nuance and in-betweenness. They require time and care, all things we desperately need in this moment, when things can feel reductive and dismissively fast and polarized and lacking nuance and deconstructive. Stories are an antidote to all of that. And finally, what I love so much about stories is their magical effect on time. On the one hand, stories slow time. Stories make us listen. They make us pay attention. They remind us that it is better to be curious than to be certain that we know all the answers. They create what my college professor, Mikael Csikszentmihalyi, coined flow. When you lose track of time, completely absorbed. And research shows that the more moments of flow we can have in our lives, the happier we are. On the other hand, while stories can slow and swallow time, they also contain a profound forward momentum as we turn pages, as we anticipate the next chapter. That slowing down of time and that profound forward momentum are both contained here on Westridge's beautiful campus. This campus itself is a story. Its natural beauty encourages you to slow down and pay attention. This campus, from its historic green and green homes to the modern glass Willamette Keck Day Science Building, also contains within it a story of forward momentum, of women's educational progress through time. As I told our colleagues last week, a quote from Broadway's Hamilton, I love Broadway, has been on refrain in my mind over the last few weeks. History has its eyes on you. I feel that palpably right now as I take up this baton. This history, with the word story contained within it, has its eyes on all of us. Students, teachers, staff, parents, trustees. We are part of Westridge's larger collective story, a story of gender equity, a story of forward-thinking education, a story of striving to rise. Let's be immensely proud and honored to be in Westridge's story. Let's construct our chapter together in this moment of time when rebuilding and building and rebuilding community feels most vital right now. Let's construct our chapter with the deepest sense of purpose, with the deepest sense of life-affirming fun, and always celebrating both our similarities and our differences. Let's construct our chapter with the deepest sense of being all in this together. Here's to a wonderful school year full of individual and collective stories. I can't wait to hear all of your stories. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm Gary Baldwin. I'm the director of Upper School, and I'm happy to be with you today to introduce the newest members of the Upper School faculty. Yeah. New faculty members, please rise when I call your name, and I'll talk about you a little bit. First, welcome Elliott Chang. Elliott joins our upper school math team teaching advanced geometry and statistics. He has 8 years teaching experience, including at Don Brosco Technical Institute locally and Pinewood School in Los Altos. He has a BS in mathematics from the University of California, Irvine. Welcome, Elliott. Emily Mukai. Emily's our new human development coordinator, and if she looks familiar, it is because she's been our head lacrosse coach for several years. That's right. Before Westridge, Emily spent many years as a health coach and consulting to wellness businesses. She holds a bachelor's degree from Whittier College. Welcome, Emily. Jenna Orlandini. Jenna also may look familiar. She's been coaching volleyball at Westridge since 2015, and now she will be with us full-time teaching lower and middle school PE. She has taught PE at Polytechnic School and High Point and holds an MA in Coaching and Athletic Administration from Concordia University of Irvine and 2 BA degrees from the University of Washington. Welcome, Jenna. Ronnie Schneier. Ronnie's joined our art department faculty to teach painting and drawing. She was with us last year as a long-term sub and spent more than 10 years teaching art, special education, and Hebrew in the Los Angeles area. Ronnie holds a BA and MFA from Bezazel Academy of Arts and Design in Tel Aviv. Welcome, Ronnie. Ryan Villaverde. Ryan is stepping into dual roles this year as an upper school Spanish teacher and the upper school choral music director. Yes. He's taught middle school and high school levels of both Spanish and music, most recently at LaSalle High School. He holds a master's degree in education at the University of Houston and a bachelor's degree from the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. Welcome, Ryan. Dr. Monique Aguevon. That was really nice. Monique joined Westridge in July as Director of College Counseling. She has more than 15 years of experience in college admissions and recruitment. Most recently, she was the Associate Dean of Admission at Southern Methodist University, and her last post in California was at UC Irvine. She holds an EDD from the University of Pittsburgh, a master's in marriage and family therapy from Hope International University, and a bachelor's degree from Pepperdine University. Welcome, Monique. Cindy Lynn. Cindy is our scenic and properties designer in the theater department. She recently returned to the States after a number of years designing in the UK with the Royal Court Theatre, Lyric Hammersmith, and more. She earned her master's degree at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama and her bachelor's degree from USC. Welcome, Cindy. Rob Simonowski. Rob also joins the Westridge Theater Department as the technical director after 10 years at Universal Studios Hollywood. I know. Rob holds a bachelor's degree from San Francisco State University. Welcome to Rob. Now I will turn the mic over to Dr. Zanita Kelly, director of the lower and middle school.
Good morning, Westridge! We're here! And to Andrea Kassar, our new head of school, I've been collecting all the ways in which we're similar. Your love of stories, your love of music, and now I know we have both cried in that office. Good reasons, good reasons. All right, in the lower and middle school, we welcome Kara Ramirez as our new 8th grade English teacher. She has more than 20 years teaching experience, including 13 years at Polytechnic. Woohoo! We got her! Kara has a master's degree in education from Lesley University in Massachusetts and a BA from Colby College in Maine. Thank you, Kara, for being with us. Catherine Stryker. She'll teach 5th grade math. Catherine has 5 years of elementary teaching experience, including teaching 5th grade at St. Cyril in Encino. She holds a master's degree in elementary education from the University of Phoenix and a BA from State University of New York at Buffalo. And she's currently working on an advanced degree at UCLA. Go Bruins! Sarah Yoder. Yeah, give it up for Sarah. Sarah joins our 8th grade team as a science teacher and is very familiar to our students as they served as a teaching assistant here last year. Sarah holds a MA in geology from the University of California at Berkeley and a BS from the California Institute of Technology. Woohoo! Only the best and brightest here. I also have the privilege of introducing some new members of the Westridge administrative team. Linda Ross. Linda joined us in June as Chief Financial Operations Officer. She has more than 25 years of experience at nonprofit and for-profit organizations, most recently serving as CFO for Southwestern Law School. She holds a bachelor's degree from the University of California, Santa Barbara. Give it up for Linda. Show me the money. Reagan Snyder is our new digital communications specialist. After 6 years in communications at Notre Dame High School, she holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Alabama. Fan Wang. Hey, there she is. Our Director of Alumni Engagement came to Westridge from the Huntington Library, where she fundraised for the Chinese Garden. She holds an MFA from USC and a BFA from Beijing University. Welcome, Fan. Thank you. And also new in the Advancement Department is Advancement Database Administrator Nancy Yoon Perales. Sorry if I butchered that. She comes to us after a 7-year tenure with YMCA. And holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Hawaii. Hilo, welcome, aloha. Thank you, everyone. I believe that we are delighted to have you with us this fall. We also have several people joining Westridge mid-year last year, and we want to have them stand up so that our families can put faces to your names, okay? Hazel Diaz, where's Hazel? All right, thank you. Hazel joined Westridge last November as our assistant nurse. She was previously the school nurse at the Pilgrim School and currently working toward her Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing at West Coast University, Los Angeles. Welcome, Hazel. Lots of Band-Aids. Yuxin Jiao. She here? Yuxin joined Westridge in the spring as Advancement Administrative Assistant. Before Westridge, she worked at Air China. And our Director of Facilities, give it up for Arena Kotsinian. She there? That's right. Arena. Arena joined us in March after 22 years managing facilities for a number of different schools at USC. And Shivani Patel. Hey, Shivani. Shivani joined our communications team in 2021 as communications associate after working as an education reporter. And finally, welcome our athletics coordinator, Nicholas Sale. Nicholas, who previously worked in PE and athletics in the West Covina Unified School District and at San Marino High School. Welcome, Nicholas. Thank you. And so it is with a great pleasure and recognition of the awesome responsibility we hold, I welcome all of you to the 22-23 school year. Welcome. All right. Parents, I need you to know that after convocation, there is a reception here at the Alumni Courtyard, and we'd love for you to join us. Students, you have class. Morgan, please come on up so we can close us out. Thank you. Thank you.
So the last part of convocation and a tradition is to sing Surgere Tentamus together. So I would like to invite the senior class to come and sing with the 4th graders.
You are all dismissed.